Hi, welcome to Track 1 Beginner Yoga Balance with Global Oasis Yoga. If you're brand new to yoga and movement in general, you are in the right place. If you're currently already active but new to yoga, you can find a link for our Track 2 Beginner Yoga series in the written description below the video. It's under the Beginner Yoga Videos section there. This Track 1 balance class is the third of 4 classes in our beginner yoga series, but don't worry if you haven't done the first 2. The classes are interchangeable, and you can go back and find those 2 classes also in the link below this video under beginner yoga classes. For those of you using a chair today, copy the mat movements from your chair for the seated poses. And from time to time, video clips are going to appear in the top left corner of your screen to instruct you on the more involved or standing poses. Okay? Don't forget to give yourself permission to take breaks whenever you need to. Finally, all props are optional, but you may find helpful for today's class a throw pillow or bolster pillow, a folded blanket, a set of yoga blocks, and a chair or a wall nearby for balance for some of our standing poses. If you are using a chair today, scoot your body all the way forward to the edge of the chair and stack your knees directly above your ankles. So come join me on the mat today and let's get started. We'll begin seated on the mat. As always, if you'd like to prop the hips or the sit bones up on a bolster or a blanket, you can do so now, making sure that it's only resting under the sit bones. Reach the spine up tall and the crown of the head towards the sky or the ceiling above you. Take a moment, close the eyes, and begin to bring your awareness to your breathing. We're going to take long and slow inhales through the nose. And our goal is to try to expand the belly as we inhale. Take a couple more breaths here. Take a moment, close the eyes, and begin to bring your awareness to your breathing. We're going to take long and slow inhales through the nose. And our goal is to try to expand the belly as we inhale. Take a couple more breaths here. The eyes can remain closed, or you can softly blink them open. As we inhale, let's now draw our arms overhead. And exhale, hands back down to the sides. A few more times. Inhale. You can lift the gaze towards the palms. And exhale, arms by the sides. One more time, lifting up on the inhale. And exhale, hands by the sides. Lowering the shoulders softly away from the ears. Let's draw them forward and then back up towards the ears, behind us, and down. Again, forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Reversing the direction. Back, up, forward, and down. A few more times. The next time your shoulders are soft away from the ears, inhale the hands overhead again. Inhale to lift. This time, grab the right wrist with the left hand. Reach the arm up high, pulling the shoulder blade up off the body, and side bend over to the left. We want our chest to remain open rather than down towards the mat. So find what depth of side bend is appropriate to keep the chest rolled open. As we're bending here, take your awareness to your navel and pull it towards your spine. And see if it's possible to take the action of lifting the pubic bone up towards the navel. We're changing sides on our grip now on our side bend. But be aware of the muscles in your abdomen area and lightly activating them. Release from your side bend. Hands back down to the sides. Bring them to the waist. And then just push the shoulders down towards the ground. Extend the right arm out to the side, to the outside of the right hip, or slightly lifted, and then draw the left ear towards the left shoulder. Feeling nice stretch at the top of the shoulder there. Lift the head back to neutral and change sides. First, put the hands back on the waist, push the shoulders down, and then take left hand off to the side. Right ear presses down towards right shoulder. Release from that stretch. Lift the arms up again on the inhale. And then as you exhale, bend the elbows and bring the arms into a cactus shape. Twist the torso over to the right, keeping the arms stationary. Getting a nice opening in the mid-back area here. Pass back through center and take it to the opposite side. If you feel like this is a lot of engagement or pinching in the shoulders, a couple other options are to put the fingertips on top of the shoulders during your twist. You can also release the arms down and take one hand to opposite knee to find your twist. Unwind from your twist back to center and bring the hands back to the waist. We're going to find a pelvic tilt here. So what I'd like you to do is soften the shoulders away from the ears and then gently tuck the sacrum or the tailbone under you. Allow the spine to round and you can bring the chin towards the chest. You can also pull the elbows forward to help accentuate the stretch in your back here. So you're pulling the elbows forward towards one another and towards the midline. And then reverse the tilt so that now your back is arched a little bit. Your chest is broadening and opening. Reach the elbows together behind you and lift the gaze slightly. On the exhale, tilt the pelvis forward, draw the elbows forward,
Bring the chin to the chest. And on the inhale,
open the chest, tilt the pelvis back, bring the elbows towards one another behind you. Continue on with this pattern a few times. The focus of our class today is balance. And balance is tricky because it changes every time you show up on the yoga mat. Some days you're going to feel like you could balance all day long, and other days you'll feel very wobbly and out of control. And that's just part of practicing yoga and practicing balance. Our bodies show up with different circumstances every time we walk onto the yoga mat. Sometimes we may have received more or less sleep than we did the time before. We may have eaten or drank something different from the time before. We have different things in our lives that are making us happy or making us sad or causing us stress. And our body responds to all of those factors in different ways. So I'm mentioning this just so you know that it's normal for balance poses to feel different from time to time. Okay, the next time your body is upright, let's make our way into a tabletop shape. So unwind the legs. You can sweep them off to one side or another. Use a chair for support or your hands, whatever you need to do. Sweep around and get yourself into your tabletop shape here. Your hips are directly above the knees and your shoulders are directly above the wrists. Reactivate the core area if you have not kept that activation by bringing the navel to the spine and again attempting, it's not going to happen, but you're just using your muscles as if you could pull your pubic bone up towards your navel. So you'll notice that the abdomen area begins to tighten and you'll feel work happening there. Take the left toes and slide them back behind you, straightening the left leg. Okay, what we've done is we have removed surface area from the ground. And that is one definition of balance. When we are having to, or not having to, but we're taking surface area off of the ground, your body has to recalibrate to keep itself upright. The more surface area you take off the ground, the more you have to balance. Okay, so that's kind of one way to think about what constitutes a balance pose. So slide the left toes back behind you, keep that core activation, and then push the mat away with the hands, okay? So you're not allowing your weight to dump into the shoulder joints. You're actively pushing the ground away and feeling strength happening in the back and in the shoulders. Keep the core engaged and either stay where we are here and get familiar with your body having less surface area on the ground. If you feel pretty stable and you'd like to give it a try, you can lift those toes off the ground. If you lift them up, make sure to keep the core very active to protect your spine. Turn on the glutes in that lifted leg and the standing leg, or in this case, kneeling leg. And flex the foot, keeping the lifted leg just as active and working as the standing leg. Breathing here, continuing to breathe with long and steady inhales and exhales. If you want to give it a try, you can take more surface area off the mat, lifting the right fingertips. So we're lifting opposite leg to opposite arm. If you've lifted the right fingertips, option to reach the arm forward and take your gaze with it. If your arm is lifted and forward, your palm can turn towards the center of the mat. Breathing here, opposite arm, opposite leg. Strong core, active and working lifted leg, and active lifted arm. If you feel unsteady, put more surface area on the mat. Okay? Let's lower down and release side 1 and find the same thing on side 2. Gazing forward, slide the right toes back behind you this time and play around with more and more surface area leaving the ground. Wherever you are, make sure the core is active. Make sure the lifted or extended leg is extremely active. The glutes are engaged. The foot is flexed. You're pushing the mat away from you, protecting the shoulder joints as well. And extended arm is active if it's lifted. Continuing to breathe steadily through the nose. Few more breaths here. If you feel fatigue, you can lower and lift again. And gently set everything back down. Let's make our way into a child's pose. What that looks like, if you're not familiar, is we're dropping the hips back over the heels, keeping the arms extended in front of us. If it feels like a lot of pressure on the knees to do that, take a bolster or blanket and put it between the backs of the thighs and the backs of the calves. Resting here in child's pose, forehead on the mat, arms extended. Slow and steady breathing through the nose. Couple more breaths here. Lift the hips back to tabletop shape. We're going to come to standing next. If you are seated in your chair, make your way to standing as well. Work on tucking the toes under. Walk the hands back towards the knees. You can lift the knees to come to standing. Also, use your chair for support. And once your feet are under you, lift on up and come to the top of your mat here. Take the feet hip-width distance apart and find mountain pose, okay? Your weight is equally distributed between both of your feet, so if you subconsciously kind of shift over to one side all the time, try to even that out. A slight tuck of your tailbone here. Your shoulders are softened away from your ears. Your spine is extending as high and tall as it can, and your head is reaching for the space above you. Take 1 or 2 breaths here. We're going to start moving by shifting our feet from side to side to, again, take surface area off the mat and just get our bodies familiar with what it is like to balance a little bit more in a standing position. So all I want you to do is shift your weight into the right side, into the right foot, and lift the left foot off the mat 1 inch or 2. You'll feel your body start to wobble a little bit while it tries to figure out how to maintain standing. And then set the left foot down, shift the weight into the left foot, and try the same thing on the other side, just 1 inch off the mat. Your chair or a wall is always nearby. Keep it there for support. If you feel yourself feeling wobbly, grab the chair. Once you feel stable, let go again. Change sides, just shifting back and forth. Shifting to the second side again. Let's do one more round of this. Weight is in the right foot now. And take the weight to the left foot. Set both feet down. Equal weight between both feet again, back to your mountain pose. Next, we're going to try lifting our individual feet a little bit higher and bending the knee so that our thigh becomes parallel to the ground, just like we're marching basically. So shift the weight into the right foot again. Turn the core on, okay? Take those activations in the midsection that we've discussed. Navel to spine, pubic bone towards navel. Find a soft focal point. So something stationary in front of you that you can gently look at to help you keep stable. With that core engagement, with that focal point, shift weight into right foot, see if the left toes can lift, and bring your knee up. Set the left foot down, shift to the second side, bring the right knee up, and then find yourself in a slow march here from side to side, balancing. And then take opposite hand to opposite knee. Add on the arms. You'll feel work happening in your core as you lift the knee, and of course balancing happening every time you lift a foot off the mat. Try to make sure you capture the balance at the top. So make sure you could actually pause in that shape before you set the foot down. So you're not using momentum, you're actually using strength and balance to find these shapes. A few more rounds here. Just a slow, steady, and purposeful march. Pausing at the top in a balance. Okay, the next time both feet are on the mat, make your way back to your mountain pose. Equal weight between both feet. Slight tuck of the tailbone. Shoulders are soft here. Next, we are going to challenge our balance forward and back. So we're going to shift our weight into the balls of the feet and lift the heels. Pause in that balance. Slowly lower the heels, rock back, and pause in balance with the balls of the feet lifted. So balancing just on the heels. Rock forward, balance on the balls of the feet, rock back, balance on the heels, which is going to feel trickier than rocking forward. Okay, so when you start to wobble, just notice or just remember that's part of the process. And it's useful even when you're wobbling. Okay, your body is learning what to do with that information. Front to back, heels to balls of the feet. Continue wobbling or being steady. Either way, we're balancing front to back. I'm feeling quite wobbly today. A few more rounds here. Both feet back on the mat. And this time, step the feet wider than hip width distance. We're going to shift from side to side again, but this time at a wider stance. But take the weight into the left foot, lift the right foot. Take it into the right, lift the left. And so on. Rocking from side to side again. Try to pause in the balance when you get there, okay? Rather than just using your momentum to quickly balance. You'll also notice the muscles in your legs start to feel like you're getting a workout here with the lifting and the lowering. Couple more rounds. All right, make your way back to the top of your mat. Equal weight distribution between both feet. Let's take a couple of half sun salutations just to take a little bit of a change of pace here. So inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Let your gaze follow the palms. And then on your exhale, open the arms wide, hinge at the waist, and find a forward fold. You can walk the hands down the legs if you'd like. When you get to your depth, where you're challenged just a little bit, but still in a safe range, allow the head to dangle. You can use blocks under the hands here for support, or rest on a chair if you feel like that would be helpful. In your forward fold, you can put the hands on a chair or blocks as well. But let the head be heavy and let gravity work on separating the vertebrae in the neck and the mid-back and the lower back. And then with the core tightly engaged, bend deeply into the knees and roll all the way up, vertebrae by vertebrae. When you get to the top, sweep the arms overhead on the inhale. And exhale, hands by the sides. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, arms lift. And exhale, forward fold. Your knees can be as bent or as straight as they need to be. Again, we're allowing our head to be heavy here. Roll all the way back up to standing. Let the arms follow you on the inhale. And exhale, hands back by the sides. All right, we have a couple more quick rounds of balance challenges before we wind things down. Shift the weight into the right foot. This time we're going to lift the left knee into a march and stay there, okay? Options here, hold on to a chair for support. If you feel especially stable, you can challenge your balance even more by lifting the opposite arm, lifting the right arm. Okay, even if you put a fingertip on a wall or a chair or something next to you to help you with stability, that is a nice option. Okay. And then gently, softly, with control, lower everything back down. Change sides, shift weight into the left foot. Right toes lift. Once you have your core engaged and your focal point in place, keep the thigh parallel to the ground. And if you'd like, opposite arm lifts. Fingertip on a wall or a chair, or the hand if you'd like even more support. Keep the outer hip area of the standing leg really activated to help you with support as well. And of course, your core. Softly lower everything back down. Let's do that one more time on each side. Weight shifts into the right foot. Strong core. Shoulders are back here. Move slowly. Make sure that you feel stable before you start to lift the whole leg. So you can even come up onto the toes of one foot. Make sure you're stable enough. With the core, lift up. And then, if you're steady there, add in the arms. If you're not steady there, take the arms out of the equation. Okay, so take the movements in stages and slowly. With consistency, you'll find that it becomes easier and easier. Okay, today might just be, we're shifting to the second side. Today might be you lift the toe. And then a few practices later, maybe you'll lift the knee. And then a few practices later, maybe you can incorporate the arm. Okay, so again, stages and slowly. Gently setting everything back down to the ground. Let's learn one more balance pose today. Okay, this is tree pose. The feet are hip width distance apart. And we're gonna shift weight into one foot or the other. It doesn't matter what side you start with. The first stage is to lift the toes of the other foot and bring the bottom of that foot to the inside of the ankle of the standing leg. Okay, your strong and standing leg. Outer hip is engaged in the standing leg. So, sole of the foot to the inside of the ankle. And here we want our knee turned out and our hips open so that the knee is pointed out at a 90-degree angle. Okay, so this is stage one. Toe of one leg, standing leg is strong and firm, knee pointed out. Hands can be at the waist here. If you want to challenge the balance even more, you can bring the palms to prayer at the chest. And then if you want to challenge your balance more, you can lift the arms up high. If you're feeling super stable like that, lift the gaze. Okay, if you want to add on, you can lift that toe off the mat and bring the sole of the foot to the inside of the calf. Okay, knee continues to be pointed out to that side at 90 degrees. Again, arms in different stages as well. Hands at the waist, prayer, lifted, gaze lifts. All right, one other stage you could add on to that is to bring the sole of the foot to the inside of the thigh of the standing leg. So just above the knee, pressing the sole of the foot and the leg kind of into one another to help you there with stability. Knee pointed out to 90 degrees. And same idea with the hands. Play around with all these different shapes and balance challenges. You'll notice your standing leg starts to feel fatigued, also normal. Don't be discouraged if you feel wobbly today. Again, it's consistency, practice, and the body changes from day to day, okay? So let go of side one, shake out the legs. Try to make the movements as controlled as they can be as you exit. Some days will be better than others. And let's take that to the second side. So set yourself up for a strong core, a strong outer hip, and a soft focal point in front of you. Sole of the foot to the inside of the standing leg ankle, starting there, going slowly and in stages. And this might be enough for today, okay? So gauge where you are and try to get strong in each stage before moving on to the next one. Continue to work towards opening the knee out to a 90-degree angle as well. So you're going to want to probably bring the knee in a little bit. That makes it a little bit less engaged, but the goal is eventually to take it out to a 90-degree angle. Okay? Everything back down to the mat. Shake out that standing leg and make your way back to the top of the mat if you're not there still, back to a mountain pose. Inhale the arms back overhead again, palms come to touch. Exhale, hands sweep down, find your forward fold one more time. If you are not using the mat or the ground today, come out of your forward fold back to standing and watch the upper left corner of your screen for what to do next, okay? If you are using the mat, bend deeply into the knees. Hands can be on blocks if you'd like. And we're gonna step back with the right toes and then lower onto the right knee into our low lunge, okay? The back toes can be tucked, or you can untuck the back toes. Lift the torso once you feel stable. Press the top of that foot or the ball of the foot into the ground, your back foot, to help you with stability here. Hands can come onto the knees. Again, blocks are as an option as well, or you can be supporting yourself with a chair. Next, we're gonna rock our hips forward and find that low lunge. So shifting the hips forward from the knees. And you'll feel a nice lengthening happening in the right hip flexors here. Just stretching it out a little bit after our balance poses. If you feel pretty stable, you could also try lifting the hands off the knees and bringing them to the waist. or even adding on your arms, lifting up ahead or up above. If you lift your arms, try to make them strong, hugging the muscles of your arms towards the bones. We're going to change sides now. Lower the hands if you have them lifted. We're going to come back to our forward fold to change sides. So place the hands on the blocks or on the mat. You can back out of your lunge by stacking hips back over the knee, and then see if you can tuck onto the ball of the right foot if you are not already there, and lift the right knee, and then step the feet back together to your forward fold. And then change sides. All right, so stepping back with the left toes this time, and lowering the left knee. When you feel stable, lift the torso, hips directly above the knee, get steady, and then rock the hips forward into that lunge shape. Keeping the glute muscles activated here, and lengthening that left hip flexor, stretching there. Continuing with our steady breathing through the nose. And again, if you feel pretty stable here, press into the ground with the foot of the front leg. Bring the hands to the knee. Bring the hands to the waist, or bring the hands above the head and follow it with your gaze. Steady breath. Lower the arms if they're lifted. Come back so the hips are stacked above the knee, and release from your lunge. We're going to bring ourselves to seated now, okay? So if you can, slide the foot back to come into kind of a tabletop shape. No problem using the hands to help that foot get back there, or a chair. Sweep the knees off to the side. Come down all the way to seated. Once you're on the ground, find yourself in a straddle. Okay, so open the legs into a V shape. Sit up tall. Keep the legs active. So our feet are flexed, our calves are engaged, and our thighs are also engaged. Let's just find a stretch here. So you can walk the hands forward any amount, drawing the chest forward here. Walk the hands back towards the pelvis. Use the hands on the backs of the knees to gently lift them up and bring the legs back together. Let's make our way all the way down to the back now. If you're on your mat, extend the legs long. And then use your core to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. All the way down to the back. Once you get there, bend the right knee and draw that knee towards the chest, grabbing on to the top of the shin, pulling the knee towards the chest, feeling a nice stretch here. Continue to hold on to that knee with the left hand. take the right arm out to a T shape and then twist the spine, bringing the right knee across to the left side of the body. When you land in the spot that feels right for you, you can turn your head in the direction of the right hand. Now is also a good time to close the eyes as we're winding up a practice. And you can find deeper relaxation here. We want both of our shoulders to be relaxed on the mat here. So if you find that your right shoulder starts to lift off the mat, unwind just a little bit from the twist so that your shoulder can stay relaxed. You can also support the right knee with a block or a bolster or something underneath if that would feel nice. Release from your twist, back to center, straighten the right leg and change to the second side. Draw the left knee in, pause there before taking your twist. Slow and steady breath. Keep the right hand on the left knee. Open the left arm out to a T this time. And find your depth. The head turns in the direction of the left hand. Shoulders are relaxed. Unwind. Release the knee, straighten the left leg, and let's take our final resting pose. Both legs are straight. The feet are about mat width distance or just a little bit wider. Your arms are next to the sides here. Let's take about a minute of silence here, breathing. Making an attempt to keep our mind still engaged with the practice, okay? So we have all of us have things after class that we have to do, but try to leave those there for just the next minute and keep your awareness here on the mat. In order to do this, you can take your concentration to your breath and the practice of making the belly expand on your inhales and contract on your exhales. Okay? So breathe here in silence. Begin to draw the feet towards one another and then reach the arms up overhead and take a full body stretch, reaching hands and feet as far as they can get away from one another, really activating all the muscles that you possibly can for another 3, 2, and 1, and then release the muscles. Bend the knees, draw them back to the chest. Give yourself a quick hug here. Roll on to the side and press your way up to seated as you're ready. I hope you enjoyed today's class. I had a really good time practicing with you today and challenging our balance. These are the kinds of moves that you can do anywhere, anytime during the day throughout your regular routine. So throw them into your day if you think of it, and you'll eventually begin to gain strength and control and more balance, which will help through all of life in general. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Thank you.